I discovered my best friend, 28F, of 15 years has been secretly living a double life, engaged to her dream guy, 30M, while maintaining a separate apartment where she regularly hooks up with her ex, 29M. I confronted her. She begged me to stay quiet, claiming she's working through things before the wedding next month. Last night at their engagement dinner, her fiancé thanked me for being such a loyal friend to both of them, and something in me snapped. I excused myself, found his phone unattended, and sent myself screenshots of their wedding website login. This morning, I posted anonymously about her infidelity on their wedding website where all their friends and family could see it. She's now lost her fiancé, been kicked out by her roommates, and is threatening legal action against me. Everyone is taking sides, and I'm starting to wonder if I went too far. Ida? I, 29F, met Vanessa, 28F, in high school, and for 15 years, she's been my ride or die. We survived awkward teen phases, college drama, bad breakups, and career struggles together. When she met Elliot, 30M, 3 years ago, I was genuinely thrilled. He was thoughtful, stable, and looked at her like she hung the moon. After their engagement last year, Vanessa asked me to be her maid of honor, and I was honored. The wedding planning had been intense but exciting: tastings, dress fittings, bachelorette party planning, the whole 9 yards. Everything seemed perfect until 2 months ago. I was working late one night in the financial district and decided to grab dinner at this little pasta place near a neighborhood Vanessa had never mentioned living in. That's when I saw her exiting an apartment building, looking around cautiously before kissing a man goodbye. It took me a moment to recognize him, Julian, 29M, her college boyfriend whom she claimed to have cut all contact with years ago. I convinced myself I was mistaken until it happened again a week later. This time, I followed her. I know, creepy, but I was concerned and watched her use a key to enter the same building. When I confronted Vanessa the next day over coffee, her face went white. "It's not what you think," she stammered, gripping her mug so tightly I thought it might shatter. "Julian and I. It's complicated. I have a lot of history with him that I never resolved. But I love Elliot, I really do." I stared at her in disbelief. "You're engaged, Vanessa. You're getting married in less than 2 months." I know, she whispered, tears forming. "It's just. Julian understands parts of me that Elliot never will. He knows the real me, the messy, imperfect version. With Elliot, I always have to be this polished, perfect person." "So, what? You're keeping an apartment just to hook up with your ex? How long has this been going on?" Vanessa looked down. 8 months. "But I'm going to end it. I just need to do it my way. Please, as my best friend, just give me time to handle this." I felt sick. This wasn't the Vanessa I knew. Or maybe it was, and I'd been blind to it. She begged me not to tell Elliot, promising she would end things with Julian before the wedding. Against my better judgment, I agreed to give her 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks were torture. I watched Elliot send her loving texts while she was literally at Julian's apartment. I sat through wedding planning meetings where she gushed about her future with Elliot while secretly maintaining her affair. I couldn't sleep, couldn't focus on work. Each day, I asked Vanessa if she'd ended things with Julian, and each day came another excuse. Last night was their engagement dinner. 50 people at an upscale restaurant, everyone celebrating this perfect couple. Midway through dinner, Elliot clinked his glass and made a toast, thanking everyone for their support. Then he turned to me. "And special thanks to Zoe," he said, smiling warmly. "You've been such a loyal friend to both of us. Vanessa always says you're the most honest person she knows, someone who stands up for what's right no matter what. We're lucky to have you in our lives." Something in me snapped. I excused myself to the bathroom, feeling like I might throw up. On my way back, I passed Elliot's suit jacket hanging on his chair, his phone peeking out of the pocket. Without thinking, I slipped it out, went to his wedding website, and sent myself the login credentials. This morning, after a sleepless night, I logged into their wedding website and posted anonymously, "The bride has been maintaining a separate apartment where she regularly meets her ex-boyfriend Julian. Ask her about 1520 West Harbor Apartments, Unit 307. She's there every Tuesday and Thursday evening." I included no identifying information about myself, but Vanessa knew immediately it was me. My phone exploded with notifications within an hour. Elliot had confronted her, she'd broken down and confessed, and he'd called off the wedding. Her roommates, who were also bridesmaids, asked her to move out. Her parents, who had paid deposits for most of the wedding vendors, were devastated. The texts from Vanessa were brutal. "I trusted you. You've ruined my life. My lawyer will be contacting you for defamation and invasion of privacy. Our mutual friends are divided. Some think I did the right thing, saying Elliot deserved to know. Others are calling me a vindictive bitch who should have minded my own business. I'm now questioning everything. Did I do this because I genuinely thought it was right, or was there part of me that wanted to punish Vanessa? Should I have given her more time? Did I go too far by posting it publicly rather than telling Elliot privately? The wedding is cancelled. Elliot is heartbroken. Vanessa's reputation is in tatters. And our 15-year friendship is over. I stand by the fact that Elliot deserved the truth, but my methods have cost me almost everything. Ida? First update. Thank you all for the overwhelming response to my post. I've spent the past week reading through thousands of comments, and I'm genuinely grateful for both the support and the criticism. You've given me a lot to think about. Things have escalated since my original post. The day after the wedding website incident, I received a formal cease and desist letter from an attorney representing Vanessa, claiming I had committed defamation, invasion of privacy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. I immediately consulted with a lawyer. Thank you to those who recommended I do so, who assured me that truth is an absolute defense to defamation, and since everything I posted was factually accurate, I should be legally protected. Still, the threat of a lawsuit hanging over my head has been incredibly stressful. What's been more difficult is the social fallout. Our friend group has essentially split in two. Last night, I was uninvited from Sophie's, 29F, birthday dinner because Vanessa would be there and it would be too awkward. Meanwhile, I've received several quiet messages of support from people who said they'd witnessed red flags in Vanessa's behavior before but never felt it was their place to say anything. The most surprising development came 3 days ago when Elliot asked to meet for coffee. I was terrified he'd blame me for destroying his relationship, but instead, he thanked me. "I needed to know," he said, looking exhausted but resolute. No matter how painful it was. I just wish. He paused, stirring his coffee. I just wish you'd come to me directly instead of making it so public. His words hit me hard. He was right, I could have told him privately rather than posting it where friends, family, and coworkers could all see. I explained how conflicted I'd felt, how I'd given Vanessa multiple chances to come clean, and how hearing him praise my honesty at the dinner had pushed me over the edge. I understand, he nodded. But did you consider that your post embarrassed me too? Everyone reading about how my fiancé was cheating, pitying me for being clueless? I hadn't considered that. In my righteous anger at Vanessa, I'd also humiliated Elliot, who'd done nothing wrong. I apologized sincerely, and he accepted, though I could tell our relationship would never be the same. Meanwhile, I discovered something that complicated the whole situation further. Yesterday, Sophie reluctantly confessed that Vanessa had once told her about Julian during a drunken girls' night months ago. The revelation stunned me, not just that Vanessa had confided in Sophie instead of me, but that Sophie had kept this secret while watching wedding preparations continue. Why didn't you say anything? I asked her over the phone, my voice shaking. It wasn't my secret to tell, Sophie said defensively. And honestly, Zoe, you've always been so judgmental. Vanessa was scared to tell you because she knew you'd react exactly like this. Her words stung because there might be some truth to them. I've always prided myself on my strong moral compass, but have I been self-righteous? Inflexible? The thought has kept me up at night. The situation grew even more complex when Julian himself reached out via Instagram DM. Apparently, Vanessa had told him she and Elliot had an understanding and that Elliot was seeing other people too, a complete lie as far as I know. Julian was shocked to discover he'd been participating in an affair rather than an open relationship as Vanessa had led him to believe. I feel used, he wrote. She told me Elliot knew about us, that they had an arrangement. I would never have been with her otherwise. I didn't know whether to believe him, but I forwarded the messages to Elliot, who confirmed he and Vanessa never had any such arrangement. It seems Vanessa's web of deception extended to both men in her life. As for me, I've been seeing a therapist to process everything, again, thanks to those who suggested this. I'm still grappling with whether my actions were justified and whether I could have handled things differently. The therapist suggested that while exposing the truth was understandable, my method revealed something about my own need for control and justice that I need to examine. I'm still convinced Elliot deserved to know the truth before marrying Vanessa, but I'm increasingly uncomfortable with how I chose to reveal it. Would I have done things differently if I could go back? Probably. But there's no rewriting history now. All I can do is learn from this mess and try to move forward. More updates to come as this continues to unfold. Second update. Thank you all for your continued support and insights. Your comments have been a lifeline during this chaotic time, and I'm deeply grateful for the thoughtful perspectives many of you have shared. It's been a month since the wedding website incident, and the situation has evolved in ways I never anticipated. For starters, Vanessa dropped the legal threats after her lawyer apparently advised her that she had little chance of winning a defamation case against me. Instead, she's been focusing on rehabilitating her image among our social circle and with her family. 2 weeks ago, she posted a lengthy Instagram statement that shocked me with its calculated spin. Sometimes we make mistakes while trying to find ourselves. I take full responsibility for the pain I've caused, but also ask for understanding as I was going through personal struggles that few knew about. To those who chose to expose my private matters publicly rather than supporting me through a difficult time, I hope you find peace with your choices. The post received hundreds of sympathetic comments and heart reactions. Several mutual friends who had initially sided with me reached out to ask if I'd seen her brave confession and suggested maybe I should let it go now that she's trying to take responsibility. It was frustrating to see how effectively she was recasting herself as the vulnerable, misunderstood party and me as the vindictive friend who kicked her while she was down. But something unexpected happened next. Vanessa's roommate Danielle, 28F, contacted me, asking to meet privately. Over coffee, she revealed something that changed everything. You should know that this wasn't the first time, she said quietly, checking to make sure no one could overhear. Before Julian, there was someone else while she was dating Elliot. A coworker. It only lasted a few months, but I was stunned. How do you know this? She used our apartment for that one. I came home early once and caught them. She swore it was over and begged me not to tell anyone. I believed her. Danielle looked down, shamed. When the Julian thing came out, I realized this might be a pattern for her. This revelation sent me spiraling. Had I only uncovered the tip of the iceberg? How much of our friendship had been built on lies? I decided to do something I'd been avoiding. I went through old text conversations, photos, and social media posts from the past few years of our friendship, looking for other inconsistencies. What I found disturbed me. Countless times when Vanessa had claimed to be working late or visiting her parents, there were social media tags or background details in photos that didn't match her stories. Small lies, perhaps, but they formed a pattern that suggested deception was more habit than exception for her. Meanwhile, Elliot has been processing his own grief and betrayal. We've met for coffee a few times, carefully keeping things platonic but finding comfort in comparing notes on how Vanessa had manipulated both of us. During our last meeting, he confided something that made my blood run cold. I found out she accessed my email, he said, his voice hollow. She had all my passwords. She was monitoring my communications for months, including with you. The invasion of privacy was shocking enough, but it also meant Vanessa had been reading my private messages to Elliot where I'd expressed concerns about their relationship even before discovering the affair. It explained why she'd grown increasingly defensive around me over the past year. On a more personal front, I've continued therapy and made some difficult realizations about myself. My therapist suggested that my black and white thinking had contributed to how explosively this situation unfolded. I've always seen myself as someone with uncompromising integrity, but that rigidity left no room for the messy reality of human relationships. There's a difference between having strong values and appointing yourself judge and executioner, my therapist pointed out during our last session. Could you have held Vanessa accountable without the public exposure? It was a fair question. While I still believe Elliot deserved the truth, I've come to accept that my method of delivery was at least partly motivated by my own anger and sense of betrayal. The public nature of my revelation wasn't necessary to achieve justice, it was a punishment I chose to inflict. This realization has led me to reach out to a few friends I'd unfairly judged in the past over what I now recognize were minor moral failings. These reconciliations have been healing, reminding me that human connections are too complex and valuable to sacrifice on the altar of perfect integrity. As for Vanessa, we haven't spoken directly, but I heard through mutual friends that she's moved in with her parents temporarily and started seeing a therapist of her own. Julian apparently wanted nothing more to do with her after learning the full story. I don't know if Vanessa and I will ever repair our friendship, or if that's even desirable given what I now know about her capacity for deception. But I am trying to find a way forward that honors the good memories while acknowledging the painful truth of who she revealed herself to be. More than anything, this experience has taught me that even 15 years of friendship doesn't guarantee you truly know someone. People contain multitudes, including parts they deliberately hide from view. I'm learning to accept that complexity without abandoning my core values, a difficult balance I'm still working to strike. I'll post another update when there are significant developments. Thank you again for all your support and for helping me see perspectives I might have missed on my own. Final update. Thank you to everyone who has followed this painful journey with me. Your comments, insights, and even criticisms have helped me process what's happened and find a path forward. It's been 6 months since my original post, and I finally feel ready to share what will likely be my final update on this situation. The most significant development came 3 months ago, when I received an unexpected email from Vanessa asking to meet. After consulting with my therapist and close friends, I agreed to meet her in a public coffee shop downtown. I arrived early, heart pounding, unsure of what to expect. When Vanessa walked in, I barely recognized her. She'd lost weight, cut her hair short, and looked both older and somehow more authentic than the perfectly polished woman I'd known. We sat in awkward silence for a moment before she spoke. I've been in intensive therapy, she began, her voice steadier than I expected. My therapist thinks I have serious issues with honesty and intimacy that go back to my childhood. But that's not an excuse for what I did to you, to Elliot, to everyone. I listened as she explained that after the public exposure, she'd hit rock bottom. Her parents, initially supportive despite their disappointment, had pushed her into therapy after discovering she'd been lying to them about where the wedding money had actually gone. Apparently, she'd been secretly funneling some of it to maintain the separate apartment for her meetings with Julian. I've been living a double life for so long I don't even know who I really am anymore, she admitted. I create these perfect versions of myself for different people, and the real me gets lost in between. I asked the question that had been haunting me for months, was any part of our friendship real? Vanessa looked genuinely pained. Most of it was real. You were the one person I actually wanted to be honest with. But I was so terrified of losing your respect that I kept creating this perfect version of myself for you too. And the lies just kept building. We talked for 3 hours, unraveling 15 years of friendship through a new lens. There were moments of genuine connection mixed with revelations that made me question everything. By the end, we weren't friends again, but we had reached something like understanding. What you did, exposing me publicly, it was brutal, she said as we prepared to leave. But I needed something that dramatic to break the cycle I was in. In a strange way, I'm grateful. I wasn't looking for her gratitude, but her acknowledgement that my actions, however flawed in execution, came from a place of caring about the truth meant something to me. As for Elliot, he's been on his own healing journey. We continued our occasional coffee meetings, which gradually evolved into a genuine friendship independent of Vanessa. Last month, he shared that he'd started dating again, nothing serious, but a sign he was moving forward. He's also become more insistent that I need to do the same. You've spent 6 months processing this betrayal, he told me during our last meeting. Don't let it define you. He was right. I realized I'd been so consumed by analyzing what happened with Vanessa that I'd put my own life on pause. Since then, I've made a conscious effort to invest in new friendships and experiences. I've joined a rock climbing group, started taking Italian classes, and even gone on a few dates, nothing serious yet, but it's progress. The social fallout has largely settled. Our friend group will never be the same, but new configurations have emerged. Some friendships were lost permanently, others have slowly repaired, and surprisingly, new ones have formed with people who reached out after witnessing how everything unfolded. Sophie and I had a long, difficult conversation that cleared the air somewhat, though we'll never be as close as before. The most unexpected relationship to emerge from this mess has been with Danielle, Vanessa's former roommate. What started as mutual support through the aftermath has developed into a genuine friendship. We recently took a weekend trip together, and I found myself able to trust and connect in a way I'd feared might be permanently damaged after Vanessa's betrayal. As for me personally, therapy has helped me confront my own rigid thinking and tendency toward moral absolutism. I've learned that my black and white approach to ethics was partly a defense mechanism. If I held myself and others to impossible standards, I could avoid the messy vulnerability of authentic connection. I'm working on finding balance, maintaining my core values without using them as a weapon or shield. I still believe Elliot deserved to know the truth before marrying Vanessa. I still believe honesty is fundamental to meaningful relationships. But I've developed more compassion for human frailty, including my own. The method I chose to expose Vanessa's deception was shaped by my own anger and hurt, and that's something I've had to own. In one of our recent sessions, my therapist asked me what I'd learned from all this. After thinking for a moment, I answered, I've learned that integrity isn't just about honesty with others, it's about honesty with yourself about your own motivations. And sometimes the right action done the wrong way or for the wrong reasons can cause as much harm as good. I don't know if I'll ever speak to Vanessa again after our coffee shop conversation. Part of me mourns the friendship I thought we had, while another part feels liberated from a relationship that was more complex and less authentic than I'd realized. What I do know is that I'm finally ready to close this chapter and move forward without the weight of betrayal and regret defining my days. Thank you all again for being part of this journey with me. Your perspectives helped me see beyond my own limited viewpoint during a time when I most needed that expansion. I hope something in my experience might help someone else navigating their own complicated relationships and difficult choices.